So back in 2023, Sam and myself traveled Europe for just under 12 months. We, as you can imagine, ate out every single day, sometimes twice a day. I didn't track a single calorie. I didn't open my MyFitnessPal. I didn't try and diet, but I only came home 1 kilo heavier. And the reason I only came home a kilo heavier is the same reason as to why all our clients can maintain their results for life. They can go on holidays, they can go and do nice things, events, and never have to worry about their weight ever again. Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Sounds really weird to be saying that. Feels weird to just be like sitting here in front of a camera, talking to no one. But I know I'm not talking to anyone because this is gonna go obviously online and so many of you guys are gonna be able to listen to it. So I gotta get that association out of my head, like, Taylor, you are speaking to someone. Just pretend you've got all your friends in front of you and just you're having a casual conversation. That's all it is at the end of the day. But anyway, here we are, episode 1. So the first video I wanted to do a little bit of storytelling about myself and the time that I went away to Europe and had the most amazing year of my life. 2023 was just really pivotal for Sam and myself. We decided at the end of 2022 that we were just sick of being on the gym floor, and we knew that if we moved the business online, we were going to have a much greater impact anyway and be able to help so many more people. So we bit the bullet and we went, you know what, fuck it, let's move the business online and let's go traveling Europe for 12 months as well. It was a really big risk. We honestly didn't have much money to our name. We sold pretty much everything we owned, including our cars. All we had to our names was a suitcase each. So it was pretty scary, but it was the best decision we ever made because that, like I said, it was a really pivotal year for both of us and the year that Evolve really started to grow. Anyway, before I jump into the things that I did to maintain my weight whilst living up my best life in Europe, I just want to paint the picture of what that 12 months sort of looked like for us. So we were constantly on the go. As you can imagine, there's just so many places to see in Europe. I think we ended up doing like 20 something countries. It was incredible. We went from doing a road trip around Iceland in like negative 15 degrees to laying on the beach in Croatia. So yeah, just constantly on the go. Some places we would be there for a week, and then there'd be other places we would stay for up to 4 weeks. So lots of different accommodation, and if you've ever been to Europe and you've booked accommodation, you will know how fucking expensive it is. And you know, a lot of the places that we stayed in were just very basic. So sometimes we would just only have a kitchenette, like a small one, or maybe not even a kitchenette, like just a microwave and a fridge. But then be some other weeks where we had full access to like a proper kitchen. So there was just not a whole lot of cooking going on during that year. Like I said, we ate out every single day, if not twice a day. We drank a lot as well, big beers on the beach in Croatia, wine through Tuscany. Like, oh, just talking about it makes me really depressed. But anyway, best year of our lives. We ate a ridiculous amount of food. However, I was able to maintain my weight because I did 5 things that I live by now. 5 things that have helped me keep the weight off for good. I'm gonna apologize if I scream in the middle of this video because I've just seen a massive gecko run under the bed. I hate all these insects. You think living in far north Queensland for like 8 years would acclimatize you to all the reptiles, but no. However, if the Taylor from 2016 went to Europe back then, she would have come home 5-10 kilos heavier for sure. And that's the funny thing. So many people say to me when they talk about their own Europe trips, they're like, oh my God, you know, I went only for 3 months and came back 5 kilos, 10 kilos heavier. Like, aren't you scared of being away for 12? But it didn't faze me. Like, I knew that I was going to be in really good control of my body weight if I just stuck to these things that I lived by. I know you're probably like, come on, Taylor, get to the point. What are these 5 things? So number 1, the first thing I did was really simple, really basic, but just stay active. As you can imagine, when you're in Europe, you're doing a lot of sightseeing, you're moving around. So we really didn't even have to try and get our steps in. Our steps were high every single day. And we really tried our best effort to not get taxis and trains if something was in walking distance, like the supermarket or the gym. So we were doing, say, 15 to 20,000 steps every single day. So I guess, you know, having that higher energy expenditure where you are burning through more calories than usual. And like, look, it wouldn't have been like a heap more, maybe an extra 400-500 calories a day, but that gave us a nice buffer to enjoy some higher calorie foods without it turning into stored fat. So I guess if you are someone who is struggling with your weight loss, like first and foremost, tick off nutrition. That is the most important thing. But like, look at your movement. Are you getting enough steps in? And if you're not, fucking get off your ass, stop watching this YouTube and get some steps in, or jump on the treadmill. All right, number 2, the second thing I did on this trip and continue to do to this day, and I honestly think this has been one of the biggest game changers for me and my ability to maintain my weight, is listening to my hunger signals. So like really honoring my body when it was telling me that I'm full and when I'm hungry. And this is something that so many people struggle to do. I talk about this to clients all the time. They're like, but Taylor, when there's tasty food there, like, I don't care, I just want to eat it. And like, I get it, right? But our bodies are actually really good at regulating our weight and maintaining it if we actually listen to it. So inside the program, there's this tool that I really like to use. It's called the hunger scale, and it's a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 would be like you were starving, like you could eat your own arm. And then 10 would be you're ridiculously full, you need to undo your pants, you can't even walk. So what we want to do is try and stay away from both of those ends and try and stay somewhere in the middle all the time. So staying between, say, like a 4 to a 7. So a 4 would be like, oh, you know, I'm starting to get a bit of a growl in my stomach. I'm starting to get hungry. And then 7 would be like, I'm feeling quite full. Like I'm feeling satisfied. I'm not feeling stuffed, but I could probably stop eating now. So throughout the day, I'll ask myself, you know, where am I currently sitting on the hunger scale? If I was to ask myself right now, I would be probably a 7 because I just had breakfast. And it's really good to do this whilst you are eating. So ask yourself before the meal, during the meal, and then after the meal. But it'd be funny, we'd be out for dinner, and if you've ever been to Europe, you know a lot of the meals are quite big, right? So I'd be eating, taking my time, listening to my hunger signals. Where am I sitting on the scale? All right, I'm almost at a 7. I'm gonna call it quits there. I push my plate away over to Sam and he would finish it. And don't tell him this that I'm telling you guys, but he actually came home 5, 6, 7 kilos heavier. I can't remember what it was. And I honestly just put it down to eating my scraps most nights of the week. Like it's food that he just didn't really need. And like he'd be sitting there at the end of the night being like, oh, I'm so full, I'm so stuffed. And like that feeling, it's not nice. I fucking hate feeling like that. So yeah, he's just someone that has never been that good at listening to his hunger and fullness signals, but I must admit, over the years, he has been getting better and better. And I know like it's not easy to leave food on your plate, especially if it's freaking tasty, but like at the end of the day, it's just energy. And if your body is telling you that it doesn't need it, well, then that's fine, like push it away. All right, the third thing that I did whilst being away and continue to do to this day is prioritize protein and fiber. Now, I didn't track a single calorie whilst being away, but I just made sure that I anchored my meals around both of those two things. So when I was able to cook, I would make sure that I've got a shit ton of protein and a shit ton of fiber in those meals. And if I wasn't able to cook, I would go to the supermarket and stock up on protein shakes, protein custards, yogurts, lots of fruit, lots of veg. And so no matter what we were doing, if we were out gallivanting, I always made sure that we had those things on us. So a lot of the time, because I was prioritizing those foods, I wasn't really getting hungry ever. And think about it too, right? Like if you are not battling with hunger all day, every day, think about how much easier it is to make good decisions with your food. And because I am someone that has a lot of knowledge around nutrition already, and I know what 120 grams of protein looks like, that's the target that I need to hit for my current body weight, I could eyeball and figure out roughly what that would look like. So I could look at a plate and go, oh yeah, that's probably roughly 150 grams of chicken, just because I have been tracking for so long and I kind of know what it looks like. All right, number 4, the fourth thing that I did most days was just naturally adjust my food on the day. You could almost call it like calorie banking. Most of you guys have probably heard about that before. If not, I'll do a video on that for you guys too. But essentially what I would do is just adjust my eating on the day. So for example, if we were going out for a really nice dinner, I knew it was going to be quite calorie dense, I would reserve most of my calories for the back end of the day. Still obviously have my breakfast, my lunch and a snack if I need it, because I don't want to go starving myself all day, because that always backfires. But I just made sure that I prioritized high volume foods that were low in calories. So for example, what a day would look like if I did that, I would just try and push breakfast back as much as I can until I was starting to get hungry. And I may have had something like a protein shake and a banana. Then for lunch, I may have just had a really big chicken salad. So like lots of low volume veggies like lettuce, cucumber, carrot, all that sort of stuff, and a lot of chicken. So that way, like I'm still eating a lot of food, but I haven't necessarily consumed a lot of calories. And then that would usually get me through to that dinner. So how I sort of think about it is, your calories are like a budget and you can spend them however you want. If you want to spend a lot in the morning, that's completely fine. That just means you have less of your budget to spend later in the day. And a lot of the time, like if you've had a really calorie dense meal, more often than not, you're probably going to be fuller for a lot longer. So your body like is naturally doing its thing. It's telling you, hey, I'm good on the energy. I'm pretty full. Like no need to top me up anytime soon. And number 5, last but not least, is I didn't go into fuck it mode. Clearly had some days where we overindulged and ate way more food than what we probably needed. You know, some days we'd be out on the beach and get a bit carried away, or start ordering seafood platters and getting liter beers and just... So, you know, we weren't perfect every single day. Like we had days where we went to town, but I never got upset about it. I never thought, oh, Taylor, you idiot, why did you do that? I just went, you know what was done was done. We had a really fun day and I'm just gonna get straight back on track the following day. You know, I didn't punish myself for it. I didn't then just restrict my calories even further and further the following days. Like I just went, okay, it is what it is. Because one day in isolation really doesn't mean anything. I could probably count on one hand, oh no, let's be real, probably 2 hands, how many days we really overindulged. But again, like if you zoom out and look at the year as a whole, those, 5 to 10 days mean absolutely nothing. More often than not, 90% of the trip, we were really conscious. We were making good choices. We were eating lots of fruit, veg, drinking our water, getting our protein in. So, I didn't feel guilty for those days where we had lots of fun. And honestly, this is probably the biggest trap I see so many women fall into when it comes to their weight loss. They think that they have to just be perfect all the time. And as soon as, they slightly deviate away from a plan and they, go out to an event or they go out for dinner with the girls and they just eat way too much, they think that they've just completely fucked things up. And then they just give up. And then, one off day turns into an off week and then an off month. But as long as you just get straight back to it the following day, like it does not matter. One day in isolation, listen to me ladies, it means nothing. What is more important is your decisions after that day. Do you just continue to sook and whine and be upset about, one day? Or do you just go, it is what it is, dust your hands and get straight back to it? And honestly, like getting rid of that all or nothing mindset is something that you have to master if you want to be successful at losing weight and keeping it off for good. So yeah, guys, that is it. Those are the 5 things that I did to only put on a kilo whilst traveling Europe for 12 months and still living my best life. I didn't feel restricted at all whilst being away. I still feel like I had so much fun. I didn't miss out on anything. I just applied those 5 principles and was able to maintain my weight. And these are all the things I talk to our clients about all the time. We have clients messaging us all the time. They freak out about going on holidays. They're like, I've lost 10 kilos, but now I've got a trip to Bali and I'm so scared I'm gonna put all the weight back on. I'm like, do these things, trust the process, you're gonna be fine. And every single person that has been on a holiday with us, or not been on a holiday with us, but been in the program with us, gone on a holiday, they've all come back and be like, oh my God, I cannot believe I didn't put on any weight. And I'm like, did you feel restricted? nah. I'm like, did you still drink those cocktails? Did you still do this? And they're like, yes, like I still had an amazing time, but I just did what you told me to do. Crazy. So if you do want to learn a little bit more about the program and how it all works, I will leave you guys a link below. I think that's where you put it, somewhere down there. Don't know, I'm still very new to all this YouTube stuff, but yeah, I hope you guys have found this really useful. Hold me accountable because I want to do a video like this every single week. So yeah, just be like, come knocking on my door. Be like, Taylor, where's your video this week? Give me a little kick up the ass to keep doing this because I've actually really enjoyed this. Felt a little bit weird at first, but no, I've settled in and just pretended that I'm talking to all my friends. So no, it's been good. Anyway, guys, if you want to learn more about the program, like I said, link below, but have a wonderful week and I will see you in the next video.